Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back here to Weather on the Go. I think we're live. And thanks, everybody, for joining. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day out there. I'm going to actually try and pull up here another screen so I can look at, see if we can get some snow reports here coming in. Let's see here. Thanks for joining, everybody. Again, make sure if you are coming on in, make sure to like the stream on the way in and subscribe to the channel. We're just getting the final touches here real quick on the live stream. Let's see here. Zoom that in. All right, so here are the snowfall reports currently across portions of Oklahoma and Texas. We are actually seeing some pretty hefty snowfall accumulations coming in currently with our system, our massive snowstorm that is, by the way, moving across more than just Texas and Oklahoma. We'll show you that just momentarily. Thanks, everybody, again for joining. Right now, we are seeing some reports coming in around the Oklahoma City area here where you see in the darker blues, those are around 3 to 4, even some 4 to 6 inch totals coming in out of the OKC area. Moving further south into parts of southeastern Oklahoma, or I guess south central Oklahoma, those areas in the yellows, we are seeing 6 inches coming in at least, even up to 8 inch worth snow reports coming in those areas. Just northwest of Fort Worth, we actually had one report coming in of 6 to 8 inches as well. So definitely seeing some heavy snowfall reports, and a lot of the northern side of the DFW Metroplex here up toward McKinney, Texas, the Denton area into Wichita Falls, over there toward Paris, Texas, a lot of those areas anywhere from 1 to 3 to as much as 4 to 7 inch totals coming in here. So we're seeing some decent totals. We are just starting to see some heavy snow in western Arkansas. Totals coming in around the Fort Smith area here. If we slide this over just a little bit, you can see into the Fort Smith area. We are seeing some 2 inch totals coming in on the screen here, 1.5 inches just east there of Fort Smith. And let's kind of zoom this back west towards the OKC area here into Oklahoma City. And there are a couple reports coming in around 6 inches in the Stonewall, Oklahoma regions, checking in at 6 inches there. We also have another 6 inch report coming in out of Ada, Oklahoma, and then one more 7 inch totals coming in out of the Sulphur area in Oklahoma. So very heavy snowfall already falling and being observed here in the Sooner State of Oklahoma. Further south into the Lone Star State, into the Bowie, Texas area, 6 inches. And into Salina, Texas, we are seeing 6 inch totals coming in. Into the Blue Ridge area, we are seeing 3 inches. And into Alvord, Texas, 5 inches there coming into that region as well. These snowfall reports further east into places like Mississippi or Tennessee or Arkansas are going to start to come in as we go deeper into the afternoon and evening. We'll continue to keep you updated on that, whether it's on a live stream, a video, or even on my community page on my YouTube channel. So we'll keep a very close eye on that. Let's look here now at the massive winter storm, and it takes up residents across a large chunk of the United States. Here are the latest weather alerts that we are seeing, and look at how massive this is, folks. We have a lot of alerts here. In those lighter purples, those are winter weather advisories that extend all the way back into New Mexico, into West Texas, and they extend all the way north and eastward into areas of southern Pennsylvania, believe it or not, and West Virginia, all the way into central Illinois, Ohio, central Indiana, a widespread area there. In those pinks, those are winter storm warnings. Look at that. The entirety of the state of Tennessee under that. We have western Carolinas in that, northern Georgia, so the Atlanta metro under a winter storm warning, the Huntsville, Florence area, northern Alabama in that winter storm warning, Tupelo, Mississippi in that as well, Memphis, Jackson, Tennessee, Paducah, Kentucky, Evansville, Indiana, over to Lexington and Richmond. Cape Girardeau, another area that has a winter storm warning, this time for snow rather than ice. Little Rock, Jonesboro, Fort Smith, down into the Shreveport region, Texarkana, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So, and that even extends as far east as Charlotte. So we covered a lot of big cities there. Yeah, you get it. It's a massive snowstorm, and we're going to continue to see some heavy snow. Let's look at the latest data here on the HRRR and show you what we're working with. Let's slide this over again to so you guys can see the screen a little bit better. So here's the data that is now just coming in. We'll go back to the 18Z run for what you can expect as we go through the rest of today across portions of the Deep South. So Here we go. We're at about almost 4 o'clock, so we extended this time frame, and notice we have some pretty hefty snowfall moving into Oklahoma here, taking up residence across the Oklahoma City metro, Tulsa, into areas like Sulphur, Oklahoma. That area that saw 6-7 inches of snow will continue to see some snow showers as we go into this afternoon. The rain snow line getting very close to the DFW metroplex. Last check, we are seeing snowfall, wet snowflakes around that 8-to-1 ratio falling in the DFW area. And if you go just south, maybe 15-20 miles south of Dallas, you're probably looking at mostly rain, or at least a mix of rain, sleet, and freezing rain in those areas. We're also seeing some snowfall here within the next hour breaking out into Little Rock, so we're going to start to see that. That'll continue to move eastward as we go into the evening. This is 9 o'clock. Dynamic cooling on the backside of this system is actually going to lead to some heavier snowfall rates into the Dallas area as we go into 9 o'clock this evening. This is 9 p.m. Central Time. Notice it's still snowing in Oklahoma City. We're still seeing snow there in Tulsa, Fort Smith, and Little Rock. That freezing line getting very close to Little Rock there, so it's going to be a tough call if we mix in with some rain, sleet, or freezing rain. But right now we're going for all snow as we go into the 9 p.m. time frame here this evening. Let's extend that to midnight. Notice the precipitation is knocking on the doorstep of Memphis. So if you're watching in here from Memphis, we could be seeing some precipitation overspreading your area at midnight or shortly thereafter. Snowfall extends all the way up there into northwestern, or at least west central Illinois as we go in toward the midnight time frame. Notice still seeing some heavy snow from Little Rock down towards Texarkana, or maybe just west of Texarkana there, into eastern Oklahoma and far north Texas into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Paris, Texas, keeping a very close eye on that. Meanwhile, the warm side of the system, folks, a lot of people think, it's a winter storm, and rightfully so. We're expecting snow, sleet, freezing rain. Well, there's still a rain side to this storm, and we're still seeing that across the Dallas-Fort Worth area here, Houston. I don't know why I said Dallas-Fort Worth. The Houston area as we go into the midnight time frame. Some pretty hefty rainfall down here. That'll extend up into Louisiana, so Lake Charles, Alexandria, Monroe, all the way over to Jackson, Mississippi. Seeing some pretty heavy rainfall here, moderate to heavy bands of rain, some rumbles of thunder there. The good news is, at least with this storm, it's far enough south to where the severe weather threat is not that big of a deal. So that is something that we're being very hopeful about, and it looks like it's coming to fruition. The severe weather threat is not a big deal, but we are keeping an eye on some flash flooding down there toward New Orleans as we go into tomorrow. Going into 6 a.m. Friday, mess is the word for Memphis. So it's going to be a messy Memphis there on 6 a.m. Friday. We're going to be seeing some pretty heavy snowfall bands coming in. And look at the snow line here. The HRRR coming in at 18Z. This afternoon's data shows that snow line as far south as northern Mississippi and northern Alabama. If that were to be the case, areas here into Tupelo, Huntsville, Florence here, you guys really could be seeing some 8-to-1, 10-to-1 ratio snowflakes as we go into your Friday morning. So as you're heading off to work or school, if you have any school down here, especially if you have work, you're definitely going to be seeing some snowflakes there. And yes, up there in Chicago, Cook County, Peoria, Illinois there as well, we could be seeing some snowfall into the 6 a.m. time frame there on Friday. That could amount to some snow. And then look at the heavy snow taking over into Tennessee. The Volunteer State is going to see tons of moisture as we go into the day on Friday. This is midday, very heavy snow from Nashville there in the Music City all the way back to Memphis, Knoxville getting in on that as well. And then we're starting to see that snow spread up there Friday midday into Kentucky. And then as we go through the day, it's going to lessen. The storm's going to weaken as it pushes into the mid-Atlantic. We're still going to see snow showers, but it's not going to be as heavy there for places like Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, into places like Virginia, northern North Carolina, even seeing some decent snows as we go into your Friday evening time frame. So that is something we're keeping an eye on there. The freezing line is going to be the big question there for Charlotte. That's something we're going to keep an eye on. And then looks like mostly the lowland there, the low country of South Carolina down into Georgia, mostly going to stay rain with this system here for the duration of the event. We may mix in here some freezing rain and sleet at times, but it looks like a lot of that wintry precipitation is largely going to stay to the north there of South Carolina. If you're watching me from Columbia, Myrtle Beach, the Charleston area, Greenville, you guys are definitely going to look at seeing more rain than snow, or at least any wintry precipitation is going to be to your north with this system. Nice to see everybody here. Welcome back. Thank you, Brenda, for joining. And I see Michael in here and Jerry and Lisa. Thank you all for joining. Hope everybody's having a wonderful afternoon. It is Thursday. So we're nearing the end of the week, and yet again, we're talking about another winter storm. So thanks for joining, everybody. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We got winter storm coverage live for you here, and we're just going to be going over some data that we've been seeing and some snowfall reports that will be coming in here. Not sure how long we'll be live, but definitely if you guys have any questions, make sure to ask them down in the live stream chat. We're going to always answer as many questions as we can here, but I definitely appreciate it. We're going to have a video coming out this evening here on this winter storm and what's to expect as we go into later on in January too. So make sure to subscribe to the channel for that. Lisa says, hi from Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's white outside. Yes, that be the snow. And yeah, we're going to be seeing that snowfall there in the Fayetteville region for the next several hours. We're not going to see snow let up there in Arkansas really through till about midday on Friday, maybe even into the mid-afternoon there in eastern Arkansas. So once it starts snowing there in the Fayetteville region, yeah, it's going to be remaining snow for a while over the next, several hours as we go into the Friday morning into the afternoon time frame. That is for sure. Hey Laura, how you doing? Good Thursday afternoon to you. Alita, hi from Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville is going to be on the warm side of the system. Rainfall for Jacksonville. Looks like we're going to start to see some showers there in the Jacksonville region. Looks like around midnight on Friday. Not going to look at anything too heavy, but those rain showers will stick around even as we go into the mid and late morning hours there on Saturday, and then we'll start to clear things out from west to east there into Saturday afternoon. So a little bit of a wet start to the weekend across Jacksonville, Florida. That is for sure. Hey, Judy from Sparta, Tennessee. Thanks for joining. Much appreciated. And John S., any snow for Long Island? Yes, Long Island. We'll zoom in up here to the northeast view, and you can see Long Island starting to get a little bit of snow. It will be light snow. We're not looking at a big nor'easter. It looks like the heaviest 1 to 2 inch per hour rates will be just off of Long Island's coast there. But we could be seeing some lighter snow and some snow flurries, snow showers moving across Long Island as we go, especially into Saturday morning, anytime after 3 o'clock in the morning. And that will continue off and on throughout much of Saturday morning. I think we dry out a little bit into the afternoon with some snow flurries sticking around at times. Is that crazy warm air line still by Chattanooga? Let's go look at that. I don't think so. Let's see. Yes, it is. So the Chattanooga is in southeastern Tennessee. Chattanooga, we're mainly going to be seeing snow. So the onset of this in Chattanooga, we're looking at snow anytime after 6, 7 o'clock Friday morning. We're going to see the snow move in for a couple of hours there in Chattanooga. Could have some heavy snow rates, 1 to 2 inches per hour briefly, and then we'll flip over to a potential rain-snow mix, or at least some freezing rain and sleet getting into the mix there by early to mid-afternoon. So between that window of 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. Friday, probably seeing a mixture of wintry precipitation, maybe some rain getting up there as far north as Chattanooga by the evening. This is 6 o'clock on Friday, and then we'll finish with some snow, or at least a mix of rain and snow, or even some sleet pellets there going into later Friday evening. So that's the look there in Chattanooga. As far as snowfall there in Chattanooga, we're not looking at a major snowstorm, but I guess, you are further south, so whatever you consider major. But Chattanooga, we're looking at around a good 1 to 4 inches of snow is what we're looking at there. So a lighter accumulation with this system. Hey, Snowies, thank you for modding. I appreciate you being here. How much snow for Owensboro, Kentucky? We're really looking at much of Kentucky seeing anywhere from around 1 to 3, perhaps 2 to 4 inches of snow. So much lighter of an event than you would expect there. So it looks like the bullseye with this system here, if we go back to the central view, really is going to be eastern Oklahoma, northeast Texas, and western and parts of central Arkansas. So Arkansas, parts of Oklahoma, and Texas will be the bullseye with the system. Also want to note there with the topography over here, the Smoky Mountains in East Tennessee, the Appalachians, there could be a little bit more snow wrung out in those areas. So maybe some locally higher totals in places like the Cumberland Plateau, definitely a possibility. Western North Carolina, like Asheville, could be seeing here the higher elevations there. Western North Carolina getting some heavier snow, over 6 inches, but in the lower terrain, we're talking around 2 to 4 inch snows there into the Carolinas, especially western and northern North Carolina, that would be. When will mixing become a problem for the Huntsville area? That's a great question. Let's go back here and look here at the Huntsville, Alabama area. And hopefully you guys can see my screen. Okay, I haven't been paying attention to that. So if my screen is a little off kilter, make sure to tell me down in the comment section. I was not paying attention, but yes, it is there now. So, what was the question here? When will mixing become a problem for Huntsville, Alabama? The Huntsville area looks like around late morning into the early afternoon, and honestly, we might even change over to all rain by the mid-afternoon. So it looks like in the Huntsville area, we're starting to see some sleet and snow mixed together there around 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Snow could be heavy at times through mid-morning on Friday, then we'll flip over to some freezing rain and sleet for a couple hours into the early afternoon. All rain for Huntsville as we go into the mid-afternoon hours, and then we could finish with some snowflakes and sleet pellets on the backside into Friday evening. That's currently what it's looking like right now. No problem, Ashley. Thanks for joining. Daniel, thanks for joining. How much snow and ice is Howell County, Missouri looking at? Missouri, in general, we're looking at some pretty light accumulations over here. Nothing too extreme. If you're in central or southern Missouri, we could have potentially 2 to 4 inch swath of snow. If you're in northern Missouri, we're looking at around 1 inch or less. So not really that much snow there up toward northern Missouri with this system in particular. Sorry, I'm drinking water a lot, folks. I am, talking a lot, so water is needed. Let's see here. Spiro says the National Weather Service has us 4 to 7 inches. Is that overdone by them? No, I don't think so. I think 4 to 7 inches looks pretty good. Kim, thanks for joining, and Eddie as well. Rogers, Arkansas. Yeah, let's look at the Rogers region here. I'm not exactly familiar with Rogers, but we will become familiar with Rogers here in a minute once we identify where that is. And apparently Rogers is in northwestern Arkansas. So yeah, looking at a pretty decent snow. I would say 4 to 7 inches of snow would be a good bet for you in the Rogers area. Looking at timing for snow in Rogers, we're looking mostly here at snowfall. The snowfall should have already begun, and if it hasn't, it should over the next couple of hours. And we're going to see some light to moderate snow bands. The heaviest will be this evening into the overnight hours, and that will continue all the way through around daybreak or mid-morning tomorrow on Friday, and then the snowfall will lift more to the east and the northeast. But when it's all said and done, Rogers, Arkansas, we're looking at around 4 to 7 inches worth of snow accumulation there. And it could be more of that slushy type of accumulation too. Hey, if you're just here, just joining or have been here, make sure to subscribe to the channel here at Weather on the Go. We're going to have an evening update video forecast for you. It usually comes out around 8:45 or 9 p.m., okay? So we're going to have that coming out for you here this evening, updating you on this winter storm and what the pattern looks like as we go in towards the later portion of January. And again, if you are here, make sure to like the video or the live stream down below, give it a thumbs up, and share this live stream with people here like social media or any friends, family that you have. I definitely appreciate it. Let's look at Mount Vernon. So yes, I know exactly where that's at, southeast Illinois there. Mount Vernon, we're going to start to see some snow showers overspreading Friday morning. So the rest of tonight is going to be dry for you for the most part, outside of a flurry here that could occur, but just clouding over there. And then as we go into the morning on Friday, where it looks like some light, maybe moderate snow showers by late morning there on Friday in Mount Vernon. And it really doesn't wrap up until Friday evening. So a good 12-hour snowfall for you could be adding up to some decent totals there, at least for Mount Vernon here. we could be seeing 1 to 3 inches. So a shovelable snow there in southeast Illinois. Thank you, Kim. You have a great day as well. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Godfrey, Illinois. You're just north of St. Louis. Yeah, same thing. I'd say about 1 to 3 inches looks good for you in the Godfrey area in Illinois, or Missouri, that would be. Illinois, Missouri, that area around St. Louis. St. Louis, we're looking at around 1 to 3 inches worth of snowfall there. Patty, thanks for joining. Hi, like your coverage and watch you every day. What about some Mountain, Georgia? What about Stone Mountain, Georgia? Thanks. So let's look here at the Stone Mountain, Georgia area here for Patty. And thank you all for being here again. I really do appreciate it. We're just kind of going over some data and answering some questions that you do have as the storm is underway with some snowfall reports coming in. Into North Georgia there, the Stone Mountain area around Marietta and Atlanta on the east side. Let's go over here to the east view. We're not looking at much snow, maybe an inch or less, it looks like, with this system. As far as timing goes here, it looks like we're going to see a mixture of a lot of wintry mix here of sleet, freezing rain, snow, some rain mixing in there into the Stone Mountain area. This is as soon as 7 a.m. on Friday. We could see some snow at the start of the system as the temperatures are cooler on Friday morning. That will quickly change over to some rain as we go into Friday afternoon and evening. And some of that rain could be heavy. Rainfall amounts there into the Stone Mountain area could be on average around a ½ inch to an inch worth of rain. As far as snowfall is concerned there, again, less than 1 inch. Sleet could be a big deal, could be seeing around an inch of sleet there, and freezing rain maybe around 1/10 of an inch. So you're kind of in the area of Stone Mountain where you could be seeing several different precipitation types here and changeovers throughout the day with that freezing line as it kind of wavers north to south through North Georgia. Terre Haute, Indiana, we're not looking at any freezing rain this go around. We're looking at all snow, and it looks like the Terre Haute area, we could be seeing the potential of some snow showers there. Looks like we have some snow overspreading Terre Haute. Looks like mid-morning on Friday, and that continues on and off all the way through the day until about mid-evening. So a good 12-hour snow there for you in the Terre Haute area. As far as total snowfall accumulations in Terre Haute, we're looking at around 2 to 4 inches. So a decent snowfall there, 2 to 4 inches coming in on the HRRR model. That looks pretty reasonable and reliable for right now. So that's what we're going to go with into your area. And I do believe, yes, Terre Haute, you are under a winter weather advisory for that. So you are under a winter weather advisory. Travel could become slick through the day on Friday. Louisville, Kentucky. So the Louisville area, we're looking at around 1 to 3 inches of snow. As far as timing for Louisville, Kentucky, snowfall will begin in the Louisville area around 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and that will carry through the afternoon and all the way into the evening. We probably, again, another 12-hour area of snow there in the Louisville area, and we're looking at 1 to 3 inches worth of snow in your area too. You're welcome, Patty. Thanks for being here. Thank you for Colt for the Louisville, Kentucky question as well. Evelyn, Montoursville, Pennsylvania. So let's look at that as well. And I have to make sure I'm spelling this correctly too, so hang with me here for just a second. So we're looking here at the Montoursville into Pennsylvania. We're in more of northeast or north central Pennsylvania. It looks like some snow showers will come in as we go into overnight Friday into early Saturday morning, and really kind of quickly zipping by there. So only a few hours of snow. Really pretty light too, and we're not looking at really any big accumulations. We're looking at more of a 1 to 2 inch snowfall accumulation there into the Montoursville area. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I ain't, then correct me on it, please, because I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Sorry if I'm skipping over some of your questions. I don't do it intentionally. Johnstown, Pennsylvania. So so here's just kind of a breakdown on Pennsylvania. If you're west central Pennsylvania, so Pittsburgh, all the way to the north there toward Erie, Pennsylvania, maybe just a little bit further east of there. So like basically, again, western Pennsylvania, you're looking at more so about 1 to 4 inches worth of snow. If you're in central Pennsylvania, you're looking more so at 1 to 2 inches. If you're in far eastern Pennsylvania, we're looking at less than an inch is what we are seeing here right now, with the latest data coming in this early afternoon or late afternoon now. Kaylin Dennison, Whiteside County, Illinois. So Sterling Rock Falls over there into the Whiteside County area, Morrison, those areas in Illinois. We can kind of zoom in to the state view of Illinois. We're looking at some pretty light accumulations over here in Whiteside County. It looks like the heaviest will remain south of Highway 30, probably looking at an inch or less. If you go up into northwestern Whiteside County, we're looking at about a dusting at most. So pretty light accumulations up there in northwestern Illinois. Down into Kentucky, again, for any of you folks that are watching in Kentucky, if you're in southeast Kentucky, you're going to see the heaviest. The further west or northwest you go in Kentucky, you're going to see a little bit lighter amounts there. If you're in southeast Kentucky, we're looking at our general 4 to 7, maybe 4 to 8 inches of snow. If you're in north central Kentucky, so Lexington, Richmond, up there towards the Cincinnati area, up there in the far northern Kentucky, we're looking at around 1 to 3 or 2 to 4 inches, okay? And then you go back west toward Paducah, we're seeing more of a 1 to 2 inch snow there into the Paducah area. Neosho, Missouri. For Missouri, again, looking at the state of Missouri, we're not going to see that much snow to the north. Far northwest Missouri may not see a flake of snow. If you're Kansas City, down towards St. Louis, that general area there, around 1 to 3. If you're in far southern Missouri, so Branson, Joplin, those areas, Cape Girardeau, you're probably looking at more of a 1 to 4, maybe 1 to 5 inch snow across those areas. And far southern tier of counties there in Missouri is what we're looking at currently with the setup we have over the next 24 or so hours. Knoxville, Tennessee. So we go further east here into Tennessee, and the Knoxville area looks like some pretty heavy snow. Looks like around 6 to 10 inches. So 6 to 10 inches is on the way likely for the Knoxville area. And a lot of that has to do with the higher elevation there of the Smoky Mountains too. So I would say that if you're lower in kind of the valleys of Knoxville, you're probably going to see less than 6 inches. But if you go up in elevation there, you're probably looking at a good solid 6 to 10 inches of snow there in the Knoxville area. Gatlinburg to Johnston City, Tennessee, that's probably what we're looking at in this higher elevation, 6 to 10 inches. And then as you go down into the valleys, we're probably looking at more of a 3 to 6 inch type snow there. You're welcome, Colt. Akron, Ohio. Ohio, we're not expecting a ton of snow up there into the Akron region. We're looking at generally around 2 to 4 inches. So not a big snow for you, but snow nonetheless. So 2 to 4 inches, enough to make travel slick and enough to shovel. So that is what we're looking at. That'll go through Saturday afternoon. So most of this will occur between now and Saturday, about midday. Ackworth, Georgia. Let's look there at Ackworth, Georgia. Again, if you're just joining, make sure to like the live stream, give it a thumbs up down below, everybody, and also subscribe to the channel. Another video forecast coming out around 8:45 or 9 p.m. this evening, okay? So we're going to be doing that, looking at this winter storm and what's to come as we go into the middle and late portion of January. All right, so go back to the Ackworth area, and that's north and west of Atlanta. You have a better chance there of seeing, believe it or not, some snowfall into the Ackworth area. We could actually be seeing anywhere from around 1 to 3 inches. So it looks like a pretty decent snow there for the Ackworth region. 1 to 3 inch snow for you. Probably on the lower side of that scale with some rain mixing in, but nonetheless, still seeing a decent shot at some snow. It looks like in Ackworth, we actually go back to the 18Z. We start as a mixture of rain, snow, and sleet. We change over to some sleet and then rain in the afternoon. So that snow may not stick around too long in Ackworth because that rainfall could actually kind of melt that snowpack a little bit, whatever you get. So if you're wanting to any pictures with snow, make sure to be up around 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday because that snow will quickly change over to rain in the Friday afternoon and evening time frame in the Ackworth region in northern Georgia. Thank you, Colt, for watching my videos. Appreciate it. Thank you, Hunter. Wish we were going to have more snow in the Carthage, North Carolina area. Carthage, North Carolina. Okay, so you're kind of in southern North Carolina. I get what you're saying there. So we go over to North Carolina, and we're looking at some snowfall. Maybe to start there, may have a heavy burst of snow in the Carthage area, but yes, I do see where you're saying you kind of transition over to rain. So, yeah, you'd have to go further north of Charlotte to really stay in that snow in northern North Carolina. We look at the snowfall accumulation over here, and into northern portions of North Carolina, we're looking at snowfall accumulations anywhere from around 3 to 6 inches. You go into western North Carolina, especially, again, if you're in those valleys, we're looking at around 3 to 6. If you're going up in elevation, like into the Asheville region, into the Smoky Mountain and Appalachian chain, you're probably looking at more of a 6 to 10 inch snow here in the higher elevation of western North Carolina, similar to eastern Tennessee. Hi, I am a long-haul truck driver from British Columbia, Canada. Well, thank you for joining from British Columbia, Canada, first off. Thank you so much. I found your channel and subscribed to it, and I find it very helpful for my trip planning, what to expect in the Butner, North Carolina tomorrow at noon. Well, thanks for joining. As you're a truck driver, definitely I understand the weather is very, you depend on the weather to make a safe trip, right? So let's look here at, what was it on there? What North Carolina? The Butner area. So let's look at that real quick here into North Carolina. Okay, so you're in the northern part of North Carolina. We're looking at around 1 to 3 inches up there, and it looks like the snowfall, as far as timing is concerned, for the Butner area. So for snowfall, you said around noon on Friday. The snowfall will still be to the west there on Friday at noon. So, because you said tomorrow. So yeah, that would be Friday at noon. The snowfall will be still to the west. So you were A-okay there in the Butner area. The snowfall won't be moving into Butner, North Carolina until Friday evening around 7, 8 o'clock. And then it'll overspread the area and continue all the way through around 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So it looks like 7 o'clock p.m. Friday evening through 5 a.m. on Saturday. Butner, North Carolina is the timing for precipitation overall and snowfall there. And it looks like 1 to 3 inches. Can't wait for spring. Well, actually, guys, again, after today, we are under 70 days away until spring equinox. So spring will be coming very quickly. And we can even get snow in early spring. So don't hang up the snow gear until probably April this year. The way it's going, you never know. Can you show how much snow Westmoreland, Tennessee will get? I've seen a lot of different models. Well, the best one to look at here is the HRRR. So let's look here at the Westmoreland, Tennessee area. Try to give you the best, most accurate forecast here possible. So you're just north and east of Nashville. So let's go back here to Middle Tennessee. So what you're looking at is Tennessee here. Snowfall overspreading the Westmoreland area around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning Central Time on, or I think you're Central Time, right? On Friday. This will be tomorrow. Heavy snow really starts to build in. These could be 1 to 2 inch per hour rates, by the way, in parts of Middle Tennessee into the early afternoon. And then we see snow continue into the evening. So it's mainly a Friday event for you. And snowfall is concerned. It looks like a good 4 to 7 inches is expected there. So 4 to 7 inches there into the Westmoreland, Tennessee region. So a pretty decent snow for you, enough to plow, enough to shovel, and enough to snow blow in your area. So have fun with that as we go in towards Friday. Yeah, guys, I'm from northern Illinois, just southwest of Rockford, toward the Davenport Quad Cities area. And man, we haven't seen anything much for snow this year. I get it. I understand if you guys are upset at the weather this time of year. If you're, in northern Indiana or the Midwest, we haven't seen a lot of snow, okay? I understand. I definitely understand. I'm right there with you. I'm in northern Illinois. We have barely seen 2 inches of snow this year. We've seen 1.8 inches, and we should be over 14 inches on the year. So we are in a 12-inch deficit right now, and I understand completely where you're coming from with that. Let's look at the long range briefly, because I know some people on here are probably wanting to know when's the next big snow chance, right? So let's look at some of the operational models and stuff first, and let's look at this here. This is called this is the ECMWF, or otherwise known as the European model, okay? And we're going to zoom this out to the North American look. Let's go as we go into next week. Look what happens here to our weather pattern. There goes our winter storm Saturday. See this green here in the mid-Atlantic? That is going away. That's going further east. Notice how we just have this blue just sitting around, right? And look at the Midwest. We got a clipper storm track. So northwest flow from Canada into the upper Midwest will promise at least light snow, but cold air across the eastern United States as we go into next week. And so it looks like a pretty cold start to next week. So if you're in the central east U.S., so Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, even the Mid-Atlantic and parts of the Carolinas, the coldest days next week are going to be by the middle of the week as this trough swings down from Canada, and that will be the coldest air. Look at the greens really bottoming out there with that long wave trough in the western Atlantic there on Thursday morning. So you're waking up Thursday morning in some of these areas. Let's go in here to the east view and let's look at those temperatures. I mean, we're looking here at temperatures Thursday morning next week that could very well be sub 20 degrees, under 20 degrees in a lot of these areas in western North Carolina, especially with our fresh snowpack. And we look at the feel-like temperatures. While this is still a little bit low confidence right now, there could be some wind chills here in the Ohio Valley, getting into the low country here of Virginia into West Virginia that could actually be -10, -15 degrees Fahrenheit. So some pretty bone-chilling cold as we go into next week. Now, with that said, let's go back to the North America view. Let's go back looking at the heights here. That's going to swing away. Notice this ridge is very progressive from west to east. It doesn't kind of just sit there. Like those summertime ridges in like June and July, you're like, man, that ridge just won't move. It's sitting over Arizona and it's just so hot in the southern and southwest U.S. This ridge is going to be progressive. Look how quick it zips across the country, and it's actually the demise of the ridge that we're seeing this week. The blocking up here in Alaska is just going to collapse down into the central U.S., and then a new blocking pattern will begin as we go into next weekend, and a whole entire new ridge. So look at that transformation. We got a big ridge blocking pattern here. That's what's steering our winter storm track here. That is going to be gone as we go into the middle of the week, and then that will be replaced by an even bigger ridge across the Aleutian Islands up toward Alaska and the Northeast Pacific as we go into the third week of January. And look how progressive that ridge is. So that tells me we're going to warm up, A, and B, it's going to be a brief warm up, because look at the blue starting to come down here, and that means another big storm. Look at this big bowling ball down here type of look into Arizona and New Mexico, and hopefully you can see that. I might have to change, you can see it. So looking here at that, that's going to swing up. That's going to what we call eject into the country here. And this could come in 2 waves, okay? Some of the models show 1 wave. Some of them show 2 waves. The European model in particular, again, this is still several days out. This is likely to change 1.5 million times. But just to give you an idea here, we're looking at 1 wave and then 2 waves. The second one could be strong, and this could lead to a pretty potent winter storm for parts of the Great Lakes, the Midwest, back toward the plains, and that could be as far south again as Oklahoma and Texas with that snowstorm track. Just to confirm that with you, here is the latest update from the Climate Prediction Center this afternoon. This will also be put on the video likely later on into the evening. And to update everybody on, there is a slight risk between the 17th and the 21st for heavy snow here into parts of the United States. This is an experimental outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, but look at the wide area. This gives us an idea of the scale of this storm coming up between the 17th and the 23rd of January, or more so what the Climate Prediction Center has between the 17th and the 21st. This could be a monster winter storm, much like we're seeing, and in a lot of the same areas, maybe just a little tick north. So Chicago could be in play here, Green Bay, Milwaukee, Madison, into places like Des Moines. These are a lot of areas that haven't seen a lot of snow snow this winter. Detroit, Grand Rapids, Lansing, all the way down into Nashville again. St. Louis could be in play here. Really anywhere in this dashed outlined area in purple has a slight risk, at least for some heavy snow. Now, as this gets closer, the Climate Prediction Center could upgrade some of these areas within this slight risk to a moderate risk for some heavy snow. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but right now, low confidence in the storm track and exactly how much snow the storm could develop, and if there could be two storms. There could be a 1-2 punch here. So something to keep an eye on as we go in towards the middle and end of January. So that's just kind of a look at what we're seeing. And then after that, the bottom falls out again, right? You get all the cold air coming down, and then there, look at that. Look at the cold air. This is more central northern U.S. cold air, and this is air that is just bone chilling, okay? So we're talking air that is 30, 40 degrees below average, and this is still mid to late January, mind you, okay? So this is still going to be some really cold air across the central and eastern U.S. So if you think winter is over and you're watching me and you're like, man, we haven't had snow in Chicago, we haven't had snow in Detroit, we barely had snow in Des Moines, folks, this is a good look for snow in places like Detroit and places like Chicago, Milwaukee, Des Moines, St. Louis. This is an earmark type of look that you want to see. You want to see cold air first. Yes, that's how you get snow. It doesn't have to be frigid air. And by the way, just kind of a thing that people misknow here is that, you know, the air has to be super cold to snow. Well, believe it or not, you don't want to be in the core of the Arctic air, because if you are, Arctic air is dry air. You don't want that. It's going to push the storm track further south, much like we're seeing today. So more than likely, once we get past the 24th, 25th of January, again, still low confidence, but look at the core. Look at the core of the cold air here on this European model. If this came to pass, if this came to verify across southern Canada and the upper Midwest, you could just shut off the taps for snow in the upper Midwest after the 24th for at least probably a few days, because the core of that cold air is so dry, it's going to push that storm track further south toward Texas, Tennessee, and Kentucky again. Okay, if this did verify. And that would be, again, after we see that big storm between the 17th and the 21st. So, again, just kind of having a conversation with you about what's to come. A very interesting weather pattern. There's tons to talk about here. If you're a winter weather lover, snow lover in the Midwest, I get it. We haven't had much snow, but there is a lot of gas left in the tank for this winter. And if anything, we're just getting started, because we still have February and we still have March yet to go too. So just remember that. Don't be going to put that snow gear away in the Midwest yet. If you're living in Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. Don't put that away yet. You can still get some late season snowstorms that are kind of like gotcha snowstorms. Like, boom, you get a foot of snow here, you get 6 inches there, and you're right back on track. Definitely a possibility. All right, so enough of that. More of that will be on the video later today, and plenty more where that comes from, okay? So that's what we're looking at in the long range. Where was I just at here? So let's refresh this page. So some brand new snow reports coming in. Let's kind of check in on some of the new snow reports coming in here in North Texas and Oklahoma. So we can check in here on this. These are over the past 24 hours. There's the snowfall legend. You can see it here on the right-hand side of your screen. And we're going to kind of zoom into some local areas that have some higher snow reports. The Salina, Texas area, again, checking in at 6 inches. Into Bowie, Texas, 6 inches. We got a couple more 7-inch reports. We got 7-inch snow totals coming in Sulphur, Oklahoma. We got a 6.5-inch total in Ada, Oklahoma now. Into the Stonewall, Oklahoma area, 6 inches. And up here into Stewart, Oklahoma. That's just east-southeast of the Oklahoma City Metro. That is considered southeast Oklahoma. In Stewart, Oklahoma, we have 6 inches coming in with a report there so far. Further to the north toward Tulsa, just outside the Tulsa area in the Broken Arrow, Oklahoma area, we're looking at a 1/2 inch of accumulation. Downtown Oklahoma City checking in at 1 inch. So we have an inch on the ground there at least, and still snowing per a Twitter report, or the Twitter X, whatever you call it. That is an inch of snow there from somebody who has confirmed that in Oklahoma City. Fort Smith, Arkansas, we're looking around the Shibley area in western Arkansas, just outside Fort Smith. 2 inches has come in there as well. Still waiting on snow reports there in Little Rock. That'll be more later on here in the evening as that snowfall really begins to pile up there in central Arkansas. When will I be doing my spring forecast? Not for a while. Probably either late February or early March yet. So we got a ways to go yet. My spring forecast will not be out until probably close to meteorological start to spring, which would begin on March 1st. So probably late last few days or so of February, maybe the first couple of days of March that will come out. My severe weather forecast for the severe weather season will likely come out as well around that same time, give or take a few days to a week. So be looking for those 2 videos late February and into early March. February 17th is your birthday. Well, happy very early birthday, almost a month and a half in advance. So happy birthday to you. Very early. If I don't catch you around the 17th, you already got my happy birthday a month early. So there you go. From yours truly, Weather on the Go. All right. Knoxville, Tennessee. We did mention that. Again, Knoxville is not going to see snow until later on. So let's go back to the HRRR model here. Let's go back to the east view. Knoxville, Tennessee is not going to see snow for a while yet. Okay, so we're not going to see snow in Knoxville begin likely until about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So you got plenty of time there to wait, I guess, for snowfall in Knoxville. 10 o'clock in the morning is when it should start or thereabout, and it'll continue to snow in Knoxville all the way through around midnight there on Saturday morning. Snowfall accumulation in the Knoxville area coming in, at around 6 to 10 inches in those higher elevations. Again, if you're in the valleys, you're looking at 3 to 6, probably maybe an isolated 7-inch total. So, yeah, if you're in Knoxville, you're looking at a pretty good 6 to 10 inches or so, I would say. Don't mind the very loud, obnoxious truck outside my window. People like to drive loud vehicles by my house for some odd reason. So, personally, it's very fun when you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and somebody's driving up the hill here and, full foot on the gas, 4 o'clock in the morning, a loud, Ford F-150 type truck. And, it's just obnoxious. It is what it is. Alicia, hi, can you tell me about snow in Memphis? Yes, it's going to snow in Memphis. No, I'm just playing. But no, in Memphis, we're going to look at around 3 to 6 inches of snow. In the Memphis area, we're looking at around snowfall starting around 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday and continuing heavy snow, looks like around the morning to lunchtime commute there in Memphis. And that will wrap up around 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. Again, 3 to 6 inches is a pretty good bet there for the Memphis area. Hey, if you are watching, you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel, folks. We're approaching 112,500. We're only 11 people away from 112,500 subscribers. You want to help me get there? Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the live stream. We're almost to 200 likes. We're 3 away. And we have a video, again, coming out mid-evening, 8:45 p.m. or 9 p.m. Central Time. That video will be likely out or somewhere in that ballpark. You're welcome, Alicia. Plenty of time to wait and get milk and bread. Yes, I don't think it's quite that dire of a situation, but, I guess if you're in the deep south and 4 to 7 inches of snow doesn't come every day, I understand. So, I live in northern Illinois, so 4 to 7 inches of snow here is much different, right, from like Nashville or Atlanta. So I get it, yes. It's going to be a big deal down there. They don't have plow trucks and stuff like that like they do up here in, Rockford or Chicago. But 4 to 7 inches up here in northern Illinois is like nickel and dime type snow compared to that down in Nashville. So. And what I mean by nickel and dime type snow is it's a light snow event up in here in northern Illinois. 4 to 7 inches is nothing compared to what it is down there in the deep south. So I understand where you're coming from with that. Just a joke, that's all. Thank you, Ashley Charles. Yeah, exactly. Remember to like the video. I do appreciate it. Snow in central Missouri expected to be 1 to 2. Yes, we're looking at around probably 1 to 3 in those areas, actually. So I'd say 1 to 3 inches. As much as 3 could fall there. No changes for Chicago. You're on the northern side of the system. We could be seeing a couple inches of snow there in Chicago. As far as the snow totals, or like the very finishing details, the final totals for the snowstorm here, we're looking at around 1.5 inches at worst case scenario in Chicago. Maybe 2 or 3 inches in Grand Rapids up there towards central lower Michigan, maybe 2 inches as well. That's what we're looking at. So yeah, Chicago looking at around 1 to 1.5 inches of snow. How is Gainesville, Georgia going to be? Let's look at that. So the Gainesville area, okay, so you're north of Atlanta. Yeah, you're looking at a bunch of different precipitation types. I know somebody earlier on was talking about the Atlanta Metro. Same thing there. We could start as snow, and then we're going to flip over to some rain, sleet, and freezing rain mix, and then transition over to rain, perhaps. But I think in your area, you might have enough cold air to where that freezing rain and sleet could hang on for a while, and that could pile up. Maybe some ice accumulation there. Looking at sleet, we could see maybe 1 inch or 2 of sleet. Snowfall around 1 to 3 inches there in Gainesville, and then looking at freezing rain, might have to concern yourself for maybe 1/10 or 2 of an inch of 1/10 or 2/10 of an inch of ice accumulation there in the Gainesville, Georgia area. So that could be enough to really make travel slick and hazardous. So make sure if you're in Gainesville, take it slow on those roadways. Most of the precipitation will fall during the day on Friday. The HRRR model updates every hour. So the new run 21Z is coming in now. The next full update will be 0Z. That comes in a couple hours. So that'll be probably well after my live is over. But Trish came in with a Manchester, Tennessee. So hopefully you're still here, Trish. I apologize didn't mean to skip over your question there. Yeah, you're in Middle Tennessee. I would say several inches of snow there as well into the, what was it? The Manchester, Tennessee area. We're looking at snowfall accumulation there. Let's go back to 18Z. Looking at around 4 to 7 inches. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. In that 4 to 7 inch range there in Middle Tennessee, including Manchester. That is what we can expect with this system. Yep, no problem. Let's see. When will your next video be out? 9 p.m., okay? So 8:45 to 9 p.m. this evening, somewhere in that ballpark, okay? Give or take 10, 15 minutes. But on average, around 9 o'clock this evening, so mid-evening, okay? That's when my next video will be out. Again, make sure your post notifications are turned on, that bell icon. Everybody, make sure that's on. Server computer, $5. Thank you so much for the donation. Come in, make the snow cone to Flagstaff, man. Yeah, I know. I understand. I get it. A lot of people are seeing snow, and if you're the one that's not seeing the snow, I understand. Arizona looks dry. Okay, through the weekend, we look pretty dry out here. If we go back and look here at the European model, Arizona just looks pretty dry going through the weekend, and then going into early next week, pretty dry. Most of next week dry. We may not have a chance of snow in Flagstaff, or at least a decent chance, until around the following weekend, which would be the leading up to our next big storm. And by the way, again, just to check this out, again, the European model has 2 big snows coming in across Chicago and areas there in the Midwest. But again, this is still 10 days out, so it will change. Okay, the track will change, the intensity will change, everything could change still in 10 days. So I don't want you to take this and run with it, okay? This is just the pattern we're looking at. Not that it's definitely 100% chance going to snow in Chicago both these times that it shows, but it just gives you an idea. We're not done with winter yet, so far from over. Statesville, North Carolina, watching now. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Now let's look at the Statesville area in North Carolina. You're looking at some snow there, I think, north of Charlotte. We could be seeing some decent snow. Go back to, again, the HRRR model. Snowfall. 18Z. Yeah, you're looking at around 3 to 6 inches there. So if you're in Statesville, North Carolina, 3 to 6 inches. As far as snowfall, the timing, it looks like it'll begin in your area around 4 to 5 p.m. on Friday and continue to snow most of the night Friday and then wrap up around 5 a.m. So a good 12-hour snow, 12-hour snow there for you. Maybe at the very end, mixing in with some sleet and freezing rain briefly, but not really concerned too much for ice in your area. But definitely looking at some heavy 3 to 6 inch snows or so. And freezing rain around maybe a 1/4 inch. Now that would be worrisome, but I think this is a little overdone, a little aggressive because some of that cold air. But again, it's possible. We could have a 1/4 inch of ice. Now that would be a big deal. That would weigh down some tree limbs and stuff like that, and create some isolated power outages. So something to keep an eye on. Hey folks, again, we are just 5 subscribers away from 112,500. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And again, we're doing a video again this evening. Will I be live tomorrow? Possibly. Not a guarantee yet. But I will have videos tomorrow, okay? So videos for sure tomorrow. Live stream is questionable at this point. Albertville, Alabama. Looks like ice is going to be the big deal over here in the Albertville area. Snow, we could be seeing 1 to 3 inches. So that's what we're looking at. Timing-wise, Albertville, we could be seeing some heavier precipitation overspread. It looks like around 4 o'clock in the morning on Friday, and then it could change over to rain. So again, kind of an area where we're just going to see just a mess, okay? Just a wintry mess. Rainfall in the afternoon, and then maybe finishing with some snow showers or a few snow flurries, okay, as we go into Saturday. That is what we're seeing there in Albertville. All right, folks. I think I'm going to wrap it up. Got a lot of work to do. Got another video to come out here at mid-evening. So be checking out that video as we go into the mid-evening hours around 9 o'clock. That will be posted. I hope everybody has a great rest of their afternoon, evening, and week out there. And I will see you all in the next one. Be looking out for that video. Turn on post notifications for that later on this evening.